All right, wrestling fans, I know you haven't seen me in a while. It's been, 6 months since I've done a video, 8, 9, 10 months since I've done a legitimate video. I really want to get back into doing my Wrestling 101 series. I haven't really had the time to do anything lately. So at the end of this video, I would like everyone who has an idea, whether it be focusing on a single takedown, focusing on something I haven't explained well enough, focusing on a ride that you want me to talk about, or certain escape methods that you want to see. Post that down there. I'm working on figuring out what I'm going to do for my next few Wrestling 101 videos. If you don't know what a Wrestling 101 video is, check out my page. I've got a couple Wrestling 101 videos about tournament scoring, escapes, things like that. So go ahead and post what you think I should do a Wrestling 101 video on, and I will certainly take that into account when I'm starting those. Today I'm actually talking about the NCAA Championships this year. As you can tell from above me here, I'm a huge Iowa fan. I bleed black and gold. I just got this. I'm going to be getting another one soon. And so I love the Hawkeyes. The Hawkeyes are clearly favored to win the national championships in wrestling this year. However, upsets happen, crazy things happen, and so I'm here to talk to you about the pluses and minuses of this year's draws. And the first video is probably going to be broken up into two. I'm going to talk about 125, 133, 141, 149, and 157, the first 5 weights, who my favorites are at those weights to reach the finals, who my champion is, and then I'll talk about the best draw for a wrestler and the worst draw for a wrestler. So here we go. We're going to get underway. At 125, as you can see, I've got my handy-dandy brackets. They just came out today. At 125, we've got Angel Escobedo as the 1 seed. He beat Matt McDonough, an undefeated wrestler, in the Big Ten Championships, 6-4. It was a great matchup. Deservedly gets the number 1 seed. I think that Matt McDonough really wins in this matchup. He gets the 3 seed. He's going to avoid Angel Escobedo until the championship. He's going to avoid Andrew Long of Iowa State, who's given him some really great matches this season, unless Andrew Long makes it to the finals. He's going to avoid Anthony Robles. Anthony Robles is an incredible wrestler on top. He's tough to beat if you've never wrestled him before, and avoiding him unless he makes the finals is a huge deal. So he definitely wins here. He's going to get Nickerson, who won the national championship last year, who, however, has not wrestled that many matches, and his gas tank may be at issue this year. Who's going to make the championship round at 125? I got to start with Angel Escobedo. Anthony Robles is going to give him a really tough matchup, but if he can get out from bottom against Anthony Robles, he's going to be able to make it to the championship round. So Angel Escobedo from the top side. On the bottom side, I'm going to give it to Matt McDonough. The reason is Troy Nickerson, while he won the national championship last year, is not in match shape yet. He hasn't wrestled very many matches this year, and Matt McDonough has incredible stamina. He really pushed Angel Escobedo to the edge with his stamina. And Nickerson not being in shape yet, Matt McDonough will get by him and make it to the finals. However, I have to give Angel Escobedo the championship again this year. Matt McDonough, look for him in the coming years to win a couple national championships, but this year it's going to be Angel Escobedo. All right, at 133, we've got the 1 seed is Jason Ness, deservedly so, Big Ten Wrestler of the Year, pinning his way through competition this season. Hasn't faced a huge amount of tough competition, though he has knocked off those that are important. He has beaten the number 2 seed, Daniel Dennis, this season twice. Dismantled him both times, at least in my opinion. Some Iowa fans think that the dual meet, that Dan Dennis had a chance to win it. I never thought he had a chance to win it. And Jason Ness showed that he never had a chance to win it in the Big Ten Championships, where he just crushed Dan Dennis. Dan Dennis has to be decently happy with his draw. He is the 2 seed. Franklin Gomez is the 3 seed. He's beaten Gomez twice this season. Looking at probably Dennis and Gomez matching up in the semifinals, unless and I truly believe that this could happen. I feel like Dan Dennis could easily get knocked off by Nick Fanthorpe. Fanthorpe has not had a great season. He's not been impressive all season. However, I feel like Fanthorpe is going to come on and he's going to challenge Dan Dennis. I'm not going to say that he'll beat Dan Dennis, but I will say that Fanthorpe is going to get by Mike Gray in the second round and match up with Dan Dennis in the quarters with a chance to knock him off. And the reason that I can say that is because I feel like Gomez is going to be coming out of the bottom of the bracket here. If Dan Dennis does make it to the semifinals, I think Frank Gomez finally knocks him off and gets to the finals to match up with Jason Ness, but it's a moot point because Jason Ness is not going to be stopped this season. Jason Ness will win the national championship at 133. All right, moving on to 141. I'm going to start with my winners and my losers. My winner is Montel Marion. He got the 6th seed. He's going to have an opportunity to avenge his loss in the Big Ten tournament to Mike Thorne, who is the 3 seed. They'll match up in the quarterfinals. I don't know as Marion will win that. Thorne really did dismantle Marion in the Big Ten tournament. However, they are 1-1 against each other, so he does have a shot. If he gets by there, then he'll match up with my loser, Jamal Parks from Oklahoma State. He's the 2 seed. I'm not saying he deserves the 1 seed. He's just not comfortable with where he is right now. He will, in the semifinals, most likely have to match up with a wrestler that he has lost to this season. He is 0-2 against the 3 seed and the 6 seed. Mike Thorne beat him in a duel. Montel Marion beat him in a duel. So whoever wins the Montel Marion and the Montel Marion-Mike Thorne matchup, I expect them to knock off Jamal Parks, make it to the finals. However, I expect Kyle Dake to win the national championship at 141. He's undefeated. I don't know a great deal about him, but he is undefeated for a reason, and I expect him to win the national championship. All right, moving on to 149 now. This is going to be the premier matchup in this year's NCAA Championships. The finals will be Brent Metcalf, the 2 seed, defeating number 1 seeded Lance Palmer. It will be a rematch of the Big Ten Championships, and I feel that Brent Metcalf will turn the tables on Lance Palmer. Lance Palmer did finish first place in the Big Tens with that huge 5-point move, but I don't expect to see the same Brent Metcalf. I expect him to finish his shots much more fluidly. I don't know if he was tired, if he wasn't thinking, but his shots were sluggish, and he was not finishing them with the vigor that I'm used to seeing. The bad draw for me is actually the number 1 seed, Lance Palmer. I think he would be much more comfortable with the 2 seed. He'd be the underdog. He wouldn't be favored. But on top of that, he has to wrestle a couple guys who I feel have the opportunity to beat him. Kevin LaValle from Bucknell, who gave Brent Metcalf a really tough match earlier this year. A very defensive wrestler, much like Lance Palmer. Very strong, much like Lance Palmer. Very, very strong. We'll give him a round. And Kyle Rochelle, the 4 seed, who almost kept Lance Palmer out of the finals in the Big Ten Championship, is the 4th seed, and he'll match up with Lance Palmer in the semifinals. If he can beat Lance Palmer there, there's no doubt in my mind that Brent Metcalf will win the championship. But like I said, I'm pretty sure that Lance is going to make it to the finals, but I'm pretty sure also that Brent Metcalf will beat Lance. All right, moving on to 157. I'm not really sure who I'm going to say had a bad draw here. Jake Kerr, an Iowa wrestler, got a bad draw only because I'm disappointed. If he wins his first round matchup, he will take on the number 1 seed, J.P. O'Connor. That'll be tough for him. I don't expect him to make it out of that match. However, hopefully he can get Iowa some points on the backside. Who got the good draw? This one's really more of a fun draw for me. It makes me happy to say that Anthony Jones of Michigan State got the greatest draw. At the Big Ten tournament, he tore things apart. Making it to the 3rd place match and winning it, finishing 3rd place at the Big Tens, and that in turn got him a berth into the Big Ten or into the national championships. This kid is 12-17. Doesn't matter who he wrestles, he made it to the big dance, and I'm proud to say that he's a Big Ten wrestler, and I'm proud to say that he earned that spot, even though he only went 12-17 this year. Who's going to make it to the finals? I'm going to have to give the 1 seed J.P. O'Connor a nod. I don't really know much about him. But he doesn't really have a great deal of competition on his side of the bracket that I see that will knock him off. He is undefeated, so I think he'll make it. The finalist from the bottom side of the bracket, in my opinion, is going to be Dustin Slater. He's the 6th seed from Minnesota. Didn't wrestle in the Big Ten tournament. I've heard a lot of reasons as to why he hasn't. I'm not 100% sure which one it is, but regardless, he got a wild card. He is wrestling in the national championship this year, and I do have him beating the number 1 seed J.P. O'Connor and winning the national championship at 157 for the Minnesota Golden Gophers. Alright, if you want to find out my opinion on the rest of the weight classes, all you have to do is click on the Tiger Hawk here, and it'll bring you to the next video.